Welcome back, guys. Today's video I'm going to be showing you how to make a corporate dress and an off-shoulder dress too, so stay tuned. Okay, that's our top line. That serves as our shoulder line also. So the next thing we're going to do is to take our horizontal measurements, which is your shoulder to bust point. Mine is 9. I've done that already. Shoulder to under bust is 13. Put a point there. Shoulder to your waist 16. You put a point there. Shoulder to your hip, mine is 21. Put a point there. Shoulder to your gown length, to whichever length you want your gown. So mine is 39. It's going to be a knee length gown, 38 rather. So that is it there, 38. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is to put in our vertical measurement. I'm going to be showing you the measurements I'm using for this dress. This is it over there. Hope you can see. So our bust is 35. 35 divided by 4 will give me 7.5. That's what I just marked there now. And our waist is 30. 30 divided by 4. I will put in the measurement there, which is 7.5. Sorry. The hip is 42. 42 divided by 4 is 10.5. And I'm going to do that to the hip line. You're supposed to rule across this line so that you won't make mistake, but since I'm used to it, so I just use my eyes to do the point there. So now since it's going to be a pencil skirt, like a gown, so the knee part will be slightly smaller than the hip. Yeah, so in case the hip is 10.5, yeah, I used 9 for my knee length. So I'm trying to rule across, connect the points together. You can see it has given me the shape already. The smallest part is the waist, this big part is the bust, and then the biggest part is the hip. So what I'm going to be doing now is to put the shoulder measurements. Our shoulder is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7. You can see that's what I'm doing now. 14 divided by 2. That is 7 over there. So I'm going to place it on that top line or the shoulder line. Like that. So the next thing I'm about to do now is to put in our neckline. The neck depth, I took 4 inches for the neck depth. The neck width, I took 3.5 inches. And I'm going to connect those lines together now. It's as easy as ABC. There's nothing hard here, I tell you. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create my armhole. So before that, I'll create the sloping. I'll go down from the shoulder line. I'll go down by 1/2 inch and then I'll connect it to the neckline. Then what I'm going to do now is to create the armhole. You take your armhole measurement. That's the round armhole measurement divided by 2 and minus 1 or 2 inch. That's what you're going to place there right now. So look at how I placed my tape rule from where I took the 1/2 inch. So I took 8.5. So I'm going to rule across this line, connect the two lines together. So from there, you're going to take the midpoint of this line. Check the midpoint of the line. Mine is 8, so the midpoint should be 4. So you divide 8 by 2, which will give me 4. You place and then you mark on 4, make a mark there, and then you get the curve. At the point where you marked 4, you go in a little bit by maybe 1/2 or 1/4 of an inch, and then you've created your armhole there. So the next thing we are going to do now is to add our seam allowance of 1 inch around our dress. That's what I'm about to do now. This is it. It's as simple as that. I'm going to do that around the dress. but the hemming part I'm going to be using, I think I did 1.5 here, but for our side seam I use 1 inch. The hem part I use 1.5 inch. Then I'm going to add 1/2 inch on our neckline and 1/2 inch on our shoulder line also, to connect the front shoulder to the back shoulder. So I'm going to be using 1/2 inch. I'm trying to connect my dotted lines now. As you can see, it's already giving me that shape of a dress. Whenever you're drafting anything, your finished product should look like what you're about to make. Right now I'm trying to add my 1/2 inch allowance to my armhole. That's if you're attaching a hand, like attaching a sleeve to this dress, you need to put in your 1/2 inch sewing allowance. Then I'm going to do the same at the shoulder point and at the neckline also. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is to input breast dart or side dart, because this is going to be an English dress, so we just want to put that side dart. So what you need to put your side dart, you just need to take the measurement from your underarm hole to your bust point. From the underarm hole to my bust point is 5. So we divide 5 by 2, which will give me 2.5, and that is where our dart will fall. So you mark 2.5 like that, and then at the, so you're going to take your breast distance, that's the nipple to nipple distance. Mine is 4, so that's what I just did now. Then I go out by 1 inch on that chest line, and then at this other part you go in by 1/2 inch, come up by 1/2 inch, and then you connect the 3 lines to that point. That's how you get your breast dart. It's as easy as this. You can see it. So after you sew that in, it will give you that semi breast cup like shape. So what you are about to do now is to cut out. Okay guys, after cutting out, this is what our dress looks like. This is it. That's the, I made a notch there for our breast dart, and this is it. This is the hemming part of the dress, and see what the right side of the dress look like. I know my fabric is so fine. Yeah, fabric is so nice. That's the armhole, that's waistline, that's the notch over there for our breast dart, and we are good to go. So we are about to cut the back now. It's as simple as this. Yeah, after holding the breast dart, look at how your clothes will look like to give it that semi breast. Okay guys, we're ready to cut the back piece. Before you place your front on the back piece, you have to fold your fabric into 2 like we did for the front, and then create your 1 inch or 1.5 inch zip allowance, and then you place your front piece on that line. As you can see, you won't place it directly on the center line, so you push it in a little bit, like 1 or 1.5 inch, depending on what you want to use for your zipper allowance. Mine is 1 inch, as you can see already. So I already shifted my front piece, so you're ready to cut out now. The only difference between the back piece and the front piece is the zipper allowance. So as you can see, I'm cutting already. This is what it looks like. The difference between the back and the front is the zipper allowance and then the neck depth. I use 1 inch for the neck depth at the back, but the front neck depth is 4 inch. That's the only difference between the front piece and the back piece. And of course we are going to open that line into two because of the zipper allowance. We are going to attach a zipper, so I'm about to slash that point open now, as you can see. Dividing them, this will be two back piece, the left and the right side of the back. That's our middle point there where we'll attach our zipper. That's the opening part. So this is the right side of our dress. So we're going to close up that point and then attach a zipper right there. And here's our front piece. So we are done with our drafting. The next thing we need to do now is to go to the sewing machine, but before that, it's an off shoulder dress, so I'm going to be cutting the up side off. I'm going to show you how to do that right away. Stay tuned. Well, in case you don't want to do an off shoulder dress, this is a perfect pattern for your normal sleeveless dress, so you can leave it this way. But if you want to make it an off shoulder, you can do what I'm about to do now, just to cut off the upper part. You're going to take your measurement and cut off the upper part. But in case you want a normal sleeveless dress, this is it, or a dress with a sleeve, this is also it. If you want it a tiny sleeveless dress, you can trim the armhole a little bit, or you can leave it like this, depend on what you want. So right now we're about to cut off the up part because I want to make this an off shoulder. Like, yeah, the neckline will look something like this. You can see the way I'm doing my hand. So I'm about to make this just an off shoulder. So what I'm going to do now is to take our neck depth. I'm already okay with the neck depth. I took 4, which is okay by me. So what I'm going to do now is to take the measurement from my armhole part. So I'm going to take 2.5 from that part, like you can see, and then connect it through my neck depth. I'm going to do the same thing for the other side of the shoulder. Place your tape rule like this, go in by 2.5 and then connect the point to your neck depth. That is what I'm about to do now. You can see I'm connecting already with my chalk. Hope you can see what I'm doing. And when I'm done, I'll just cut it off. It's as simple as that. I don't really want the off shoulder to be really off, or I just want something moderate. Yeah, I don't want it to expose any part of my body, so it's not going to be the off shoulder kind of dress though. So this is it. I'm doing the same to the other part. And we are good to go. I'm not using a lining, so I'm going to be doing a facing for this dress. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make that soon. So we are done with the front piece. We have to go over to the back piece. And we're going to do the same thing. The same thing we did for the front, that's the same thing we're going to do for the back. So since the back has 2 pieces, just place both of them together. Take your 2.5 mark on it, and then connect it to the neckline. I want it to go deeper. I want my neck depth to be deeper, so I went in by 5. You know, our 5.5. Previous neck depth is 1 inch, so I went down by 5. I want the down part to go a little lower than the front. So, and then you connect it like this, and we are good to go. What I just need now is to cut it off. and our off shoulder is ready. It's as simple as A, B, C. There's nothing difficult about making an off shoulder dress though. So the next thing is we're about to do now is to cut out our facing.
I'm going to be cutting an interfacing for this also.
So this is the back piece.
We'll be using a lining.
Ta-da!
So
You're done.
Notch my zip allowance 1 inch.
I'm trying to make a notch on this dress for our zipper part so I won't make a mistake, just to guide me through when I'm sewing.
Okay guys, we're good to go. This is the back piece. This is how the back neckline will look like. Remember, it's an off shoulder dress. So the next thing to do now is to cut the interfacing for this.